Good evening, Dylan with Huntsville Guns. Random video for you. I am in the shop this evening doing a little bit of welding, helping a customer with a welding project. And it gave me an idea for a video that I think may reach just a little bit larger community than the gun community. So the majority of you watching this channel are probably in the gun community in some capacity. You're either here looking for information on fixing something or what it looks like to be a gunsmith or product information for a specific firearm. And this video is aimed a little bit more towards a broader scope, if you will. So I'm in a small town. My customer base is in a town that is not very large, and I find that it's an underserved area in a few features. There are not a lot of businesses aimed at specific categories of customer. And so having the freedom to run my business the way that I want to has allowed me to open myself up for work and business with these underserved communities, if you will. So this particular job I'm working on this evening, thus the attire, is welding. There is not a welding job shop in my town. There is not a general purpose machine shop. So if you needed to have something milled or turned in the lathe, there is not someone readily available to do that. And so I have started taking in work. When I'm not gun busy, I'm also busy working on something else. So a great way to remain profitable, but also it gives you the ability to expand what you can do for work. So I will give you a sidebar bit of information and then tie it back into the subject matter. So stick with me. I have a kid who is incredibly fascinated by a young man on YouTube who makes videos of himself unboxing coins from the bank. He goes to the bank, buys a box of $50, unwraps them, searching for silver $50, quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies, so on and so forth. My kid is incredibly fascinated by this, and a year plus ago, she asked if that was something that we could do. So I called my local banker, happens to be a customer of mine. I had a conversation, bought a couple of boxes of coins. That turned into a full-fledged hobby pretty quickly. So for the better part of a year, my daughter and I were going through $1,000 a week in change, pretty significant volume of change. And I happened to be in the shop one day after hanging out with her. I had some buffalo nickels sitting on the workbench, and one of my customers came in and saw the buffalo nickels and said, "Hey, what are you doing with those?" I said, "Well, my daughter and I went through and found these in a roll of change, and she's huge into coins now, and we're learning about the hobby." He said, "Oh, well then I have some stuff you might be interested in." So where I live, there is not a coin dealer within probably an hour. And an hour is a long way for someone who's used to convenience like Amazon. And so what I found is that once I let people know that I would buy coins and gold and silver and jewelry, things of that nature, antiques and collectibles and anything with collectible value, pretty quickly I had a lot of people calling me. I don't advertise this. I don't have anything on my website. I don't have business cards printed, but a hobby that my daughter developed and that I was spending some time with her doing has led to a completely parallel side of the business that I'm running. And so that has ultimately led to buying and selling coins and collectibles and paper money and antiques. But also I'm slowly building the reputation of being a guy who is able to buy coins and currency and bullion. And so I have even taken payment for labor on a firearms job in the form of silver and gold. It makes perfect sense. Bookkeeping gets a little precarious. You have to ensure that you're recording accurate values and documenting all of that. But keeping that in mind, I find that it is a coins and collectibles and antiques are a very great parallel for the industry that I'm in. I'm very curious to know if anybody else has a similar experience. So, like, for example, this is $20 worth of 90% silver quarters that I took as payment from a customer. This is, I don't even know, $15 worth of 40% silver Kennedy half dollars that I bought from someone. This is a tube full of silver war nickels that part of them came from a roll of coins that my daughter went through, and part of them came from a customer. I purchased them from them. But it's gotten bigger than that. Bullion. This is a $2.50 gold Indian, 1912 gold Indian that I took as payment for labor on a job. A pretty significant job, mind you, but as payment for labor. Collectible stuff, so barber dimes, Morgan dollars, peace dollars. I have a pretty good collection that I've amassed. This is probably the rarest of the collection. It is an 1875 US 20-cent piece. This actually it probably has as much value as the gold does in collectability, but I'm very curious to know if anybody else has a similar experience. Like I said, 5-10 years ago, I never would have expected that I would be holding, several $1,000s worth of precious metals that would have been payment for a job, or that I would have purchased from someone to kind of speculatively to know that, silver fluctuates, gold fluctuates. But if you are in the gun hobby, I'm curious to know, are you also in the coin hobby? Are you also in the precious metals hobby? Are you in the antiques hobby, the militaria, the paper money? Like I said, I'm very curious to know if my experience is unique or if it's something that others have likewise experienced. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what your opinions are on the subject matter. If you're into this type of stuff, I'd love to hear about it. I created a community post a couple days ago. A good friend of mine is a pawnbroker. I do a bunch of gun work for him, but we also do a bunch of business. And he has graciously agreed to allow me to come in and do a live stream in the shop. I want to build a little bit of traction before we get there. So we'll probably wait until after Super Bowl Sunday to do it. But he has tons and tons of this stuff and hundreds, if not thousands, of firearms that we can go through and look at. And so I said, there's the community. I think the gun side of it is a small niche part of the larger community of collectors. And I'd love to hear more about what you collect. Thanks for hanging out this evening. Hope you have a good one.